welcome to a full product review of the new Mizuno JPX921 irons. I was just enjoying hitting a shot in there with the new JPX Hot Metal to the final hole at Carnoustie, as you can see. And as this review will show you, these clubs go a seriously long way. I do not normally hit 7-iron 172 yards into any flag, let alone the one at Carnoustie. So today is all going to be about these three clubs that have come out from Mizuno: the Hot Metal, which I've just hit there, the Forged, which is there, and the Tour model, which is here, as you can see. I've been hitting all of them with the same club head speed, same swing. I've even had the same shaft and grip on them, so it's literally just the difference in the heads. And stay tuned, because the results are quite interesting. So let's have a closer look at the JPX921 Tour. Here it is. You can see that it has not got a noticeable cavity on the back. It's what we call a muscle back. So it's a single piece of steel, there's no cavity in there. It has a really nice looking profile, a relatively thin top edge, and a lot more weight at the bottom of the iron compared to the top behind the impact area, to give it the speed and feel that you get off the face. Fully forged. This is the most used club on tour by players out of contract from their existing club suppliers, and I think last week there were 18 sets in play, including Paul Casey, Brooks Koepka, people who could choose any clubs to hit. So it comes with a really good pedigree, as do most Mizuno golf clubs. So good looking, old traditional shape here of an iron, and relatively narrow sole compared to some of the things you see on the market today, and a relatively thin top edge. The 921 Forge, let's have a closer look now then. So here's the back of it here. You can see the word Forge written on the top edge here. Much bigger club than the Tour, much wider sole. They've actually managed to use a special metal and forge it here, chromaloy. So it's the first time a basically fully billeted steel club has been forged. That's that Mizuno are claiming that as a first. That gives us a hotter ball speed off the face, but with the full feeling of a forged club. And I can verify that the feeling off it was absolutely no different to the Tour, which is a fully forged billet of steel club. So 31 degrees of loft for the Forged compared to the 34 of the Tour. So we would expect the ball to go further, but interestingly, although the launch angle, the initial set-off angle, is lower, it still reaches the same peak height, which is how the technology works, with where they position much more weight behind and below the ball and around the circumference of the club to increase the size of the hitting area where you get good readings. In other words, more forgiveness off the club face here, but with no compromise on the feel. So this club will appeal to people who want a bit more distance. They want the feel and feedback of a forged club, which they may have become used to. They want some good looks, but they're willing to sacrifice the head size and the sole angle a little bit to achieve that. And here's the JPX921 Hot Metal Club. So the hottest, furthest club in the new JPX921 range. It's got an even wider sole. The centre of gravity is even further away from the face. They've positioned even more weight around the periphery of the golf club. So this not only is the hottest club, but it also has the biggest sweet spot as well. The reason it's hotter off the face is that this club is not forged. This is made of a chromaloy metal, which gives a much more hotter speed off the club face, as the results show us. Therefore, distance is the primary objective with this club. It doesn't feel as tinny or as hollow as some of the other clubs on the market trying to fill this gap. It actually feels really solid compared to those. So I think this club will appeal to those who ultimately want more distance, or to recover distance they may have lost. They're not too worried about the looks of the club, even though in this category of larger headed club, I think it looks quite nice. But primarily forgiveness and distance is where this club is going to sit in the market. And I can tell you it's very, very long. Okay, so let's now have a look at the numbers. We can see the three clubs I've hit there have each got a band across and is colour coded. The top left hand graph shows the trajectory of the shots. The top right hand graph shows a aerial image of the dispersion and how far up driving range they would have gone. So let's first of all have a look at the Tour. Bear in mind these are all 7 irons, all hit with the same shaft and grip, and all with the same club head speed. So we can see the ball speed off the Tour model is obviously the slowest, and the launch angle is the highest because it's got a bit more loft on it. Interestingly, the spin rate is noticeably higher, and that's why the Tour professionals prefer this club. More spin equals more control and more ability to move the ball through the air, shape the shots. And my overall average carry was 153 yards. Going down to the forged iron, we can see a big jump up in ball speed. Some of that is due to the 3 degrees less loft that we've got, but not all of that. We've got a slightly lower launch, but you can see from the trajectory that it actually achieved the same, if not slightly higher, peak flight. So we're not cheating in terms of just using a lower lofted club. It is actually still flying like a 7 iron, and I averaged 165 yards, 12-yard gain with that club. And then finally the hot metal at the bottom, again another 4 mile an hour increase in ball speed. That's 2 degrees stronger than the forged in terms of loft, so again outperforming the loft, the ball speed there. Slightly lower launch, 1 degree less again, and again a significant drop off in spin. That's still plenty enough spin to control the ball, but it'll actually help you hit the ball straighter, because the less overall spin there is, the less side spin there'll be as well, which is a bonus to people looking for long, high, straight ball flight basically. And I hit that a ridiculous 172 yards on average, which is pretty much the furthest I've ever averaged for a 7 iron, even going back 35 years of playing the game. Okay, so let's have a quick review of the clubs we've looked at. This is first of all the Tour. We're going to retail at around about £145 a club. It's a gorgeous looking muscle back club, no cavity. It's going to suit the player who's not after ultimate distance, more about the player who loves control, backspin, loves shaping their shots, loves the feedback from a well-struck shot, and somebody who finds the middle of the club more often than not. Moving on to the forged head. This is a new material. This also is going to retail at £145 a club. This really is aimed at the person who would like a little bit of extra distance, embraces the forgiveness off the face, but also offers a really good look, good feel, and great sound from the club face. So this is used from tour player right up to 18 handicap standard and above, because it simply is the leading category of good looking, good feeling, and forgiving golf club. And finally, we take another look at the hot metal. This is going to retail at £119 a club, so represents excellent value for money. It's super long, it's super forgiving, and it really does look fantastic for a model of iron in this long distance category. It's really aimed at the player who needs more distance and forgiveness, but similarly enjoys the finer things in life, because Mizuno really do make good golf clubs. So there we have it, the JPX921 range of clubs from Mizuno. There is one more that you might see out there. It's called the Hot Metal Pro. It's exactly the same as the Hot Metal that I've described today, but it's a very slightly smaller head, which I've got in the studio in case you want to hit it. Don't forget that Mizuno are still the only company to offer all their shafts at the same price. There are no upcharges for graphite or any one of the 88 shaft options that are available in the clubs. Similarly with the grips, you can have the most expensive grips on your set of clubs. There's no change whatsoever to the retail price at all. So come on into the studio. We don't charge for fittings. Just come and give them a try. I'd enjoy having the feedback, and I'm sure you'll enjoy hitting them as much as I have today. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.